It looks like we're connected. So why don't you talk to the fans, Gordon?
Hey, Internet. We are here. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode because Brad's got to go.
Shorter episode.
You gotta go.
Be like 55 minutes.
I know, so 55 minutes. Plenty of stuff. We'll keep it to 2 topics. 1, awesome ass RX 590 from Sapphire. And 2, are you being misled on the amount of memory in your computer?
Well, and the third topic,
Yes.
Black Friday hauls.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Oh, is it their topic, Black?
Yeah.
We'll just talk.
I spent a lot of money and I want to talk about it.
All right, let's go. We better go.
All right. We hold on. Yep, we are connected. We are ready to go.
Ready? Ready?
Yep.
In this episode of The Full Nerd, oh, damn it. What the hell? See, I can't read it.
You have a dongle in your hand, by the way.
Yeah. I'm okay, ready? Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
In this episode of The Full Nerd, Sapphire's RX 490. Here we go. In this episode of The Full Nerd, Sapphire's awesome RX 590. Are you being misled on the amount of memory in your computer? And Elena's gonna brag.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's a good one.
Worst. That's the worst.
Everyone can do it.
Elena's the kind of person that's like, oh, did you get that deal? Well, no, I didn't get the deal. Oh, it's this much. Oh, I'm going to go buy right. Oh, you already missed it. Oh, sorry.
That's what happens when you don't listen to me.
Hey, welcome to the Full Nerd episode 76. I'm your host, Gordon Mahong, with co-host Brad Charkis.
Hello.
I am really lost today. Elena Yee is here
Hi, everyone.
with all the great stuff she bought over Black Friday. And Adam Patrick Murray is in control of the horizontal and vertical.
Hello, Gordon. I have a box. Can I open it real quick?
Oh, yeah. Let's do the box. We got to do the box
What's in
quickly.
the box?
What's in the box?
That's a lot of FedEx.
That
tape.
is a special...
It is not a head.
It is
from 7.
Oh my
fans.
God, that
Spoilers.
would be.
Spoilers.
That box is from Intel. Anybody want to guess?
This is a box from Intel addressed to Gordon, but I think it's relevant to something that I did.
Yeah, I think Adam knows.
Yeah.
That
packing.
shape isn't so promising if it's not a head.
Yeah, this,
Could be
I
a
don't
head.
know. It could be a head. Let's see. It's got a lot of bubble wrap for the audio listeners. I'm going to try to
Oh wait,
walk
there's a
them through.
note on there too.
There's
I want to see if the note
there's a
says.
note.
There's a post-it note.
This
bright
looks
pink.
blue. Oh, yes, it
That
is.
is a lot of bubble wrap.
For those who don't know, when we were at the Intel event of them launching the 9900K, there was only one final retail package
And
in the
Adam
whole
broke
place,
it.
and I dropped it and broke it, and this looks to be it.
Wait, what does it read the note?
Oh yeah, it says it's circled where it's broken, and it says Adam and PC World were here. This is now one of a kind. Onid, who we did the interview with, from Onid to our PC World friends, the one of a kind i9 9900K box from our event for you. So thank you, Intel.
That's awesome.
Hopefully, I won't do it again.
How did you? So people who don't know, it was the worldwide launch of Intel's, the world's fastest gaming CPU. No, wait, world's best gaming.
Well,
CPU. Got
see-
to get that right.
Let me show you. So if you look at the package right here,
Okay, yeah, he's gonna
I was
justify
like,
it.
oh, okay, you've got the translucent, you've got the printed material on it. So I went to go grab it thinking it was one whole thing, not realizing that this wrap is actually just held on by magnets. So I went like this, and the whole thing just went boom down to the floor. So and it landed right on this corner right here, and just like the whole room, everyone just turned and it went silent, and I was just like, sorry.
So internet, if you go and look
And
at
Linus screams, "Quit stealing my shtick!"
if you look at every single picture of the box from the launch, it's the other side.
Yeah.
Everybody's like the other side. There's a reason for that, and it's because Adam broke it.
Well, what's really great about them sending it back to you for the audio listeners is that they wrote on it with a metallic gold pen, so it looks super fancy, like they're commemorating this.
Yeah,
is
it's like a note. Well, because at the time, Gordon was like, "Oh, that'd be funny. You should just say Adam and PC World were here." So they did, and signed by Onid.
We owned up to it. We owned up to it in the interview.
Well,
which
no,
is
there
a
was
great
no way
interview
for me to hide. Everyone looked over, and I
Everybody
was
saw.
like,
No, but
It's
I mean, you know, it's our fault.
Yeah.
It's Adam's fault for dropping it.
Yeah. Well, we're now we get to put this on the set behind us, and we'll remember my mistake for all time.
We can put it right by the Threadripper.
Yes.
I wish
CPU
this was
there. They can keep each other company.
Yep.
I wish
Exactly.
this was a TV show, because then you get a flashback to like Adam, like everything, like and the fly ball goes to Adam in Little League. Oh, bonk!
I got it.
And like every single ball drop and miss, like, and then of course
We'll save that for the clip show.
we'll save it for the clip show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, which and to get everyone excited, coming up, we're gonna have our paper eating episode in a couple weeks, and our predictions for 2019 coming up too. So
Yep.
Gotta have a best
Things
of
to look forward
episode
to.
too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best of 2018. And we
So-
have a live build this Friday, tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
got a
gosh,
live
it's ready
build
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Dan is going to build a video editing gaming PC, so tune into that on your YouTube. Anyway, but we should talk about the topics that are pertinent here today, because we've got limited time. I've already burnt it.
Okay. So I'll start off.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we've already reviewed and talked about on the show the Radeon RX 590. But I reviewed a second model this past week, Sapphire's Radeon RX Nitro Plus. I believe it's Nitro Plus Special Edition technically. It has a fancy blue shroud.
It's pretty.
And it's very pretty. I love it actually. If you had a white build or something like that, it would. But yeah, it was so much better. Sorry, XFX. I was so much more impressed by it than I was with the original XFX Fatboy that AMD sent around, that I just wanted to talk about it real quick.
Do it.
Because in our original review, I made the comment that, AMD sent this card around from XFX to all the US reviewers, as it turns out. I realized after mine was published. The XFX one is a big fat triple slot card, and it still ran over 80 degrees. So it's like, wow, this whole card, they put the RX 580 GPU, which was already the RX 480 GPU, and cranked it even further on a 12 nanometer process, pushing Polaris that hard. I'm like, this obviously is throwing off a lot of heat and stuff. It needs a big, thick graphics card to be able to tame it. And reviewing this Sapphire card, I realized that's not necessarily true, because the Sapphire card is a standard 2-slot cooler, not a 3-slot cooler. And it's got 75-degree temperatures, which is, perfectly acceptable for a mainstream card, mid-range card. And I'm just a lot more impressed with it.
Nice.
How was the performance versus the original XFX RX 590?
That's actually one of the more intriguing parts. I didn't have enough time to dig into whether it's because of the thermals or because Sapphire's model has a memory overclock. It's pretty slight, but it's still there. And the Sapphire model is actually, on paper, has a lower boost clock speed or maximum clock speed than the XFX model by 20 megahertz, so not that much, but it is slower. But when it comes to actual performance in games, it's on par or very slightly faster. It's virtually a wash, but even though it's clocked slower, it's the smaller thickness for the cooler. It's much quieter. It's much cooler, and it's just as fast as the XFX card. I can't say that very fast.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's a tongue twister.
Do you think it's similar to what we're seeing in CPUs, because they're so sensitive to thermals now that you're just seeing, and especially in laptops, where you just see like Core i9 in laptops. There's some designs that are really great, and there's some designs like Apple's MacBook Pro 15, which are just terrible with the Core i9 in it, right? And are we seeing the same thing in GPUs as we're sort of seeing with CPUs?
I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't been able to test enough because of the lower temperatures keeping clock rates higher, or if it's because of the memory overclock. But I don't think we're seeing that as much in GPUs these days, especially as you start getting more towards higher end GPUs. They all are actually starting to get final performance, raw like frame rates that are kind of similar because they're getting pushed as hard as they can. But cooling does make a huge difference. Like I said, this card is smaller. It can fit in smaller cases. It's not a giant beast. It's much cooler. 7 degrees Celsius doesn't sound like much, but that's a lot. And it's gorgeous. It fits in the case. It's quiet. It actually has a secondary BIOS So you could actually flip it and it goes into what it calls silent BIOS. But on the box, they say it's optimized for computing. I'm not sure why they would say that.
Other than that, you can't compute on it.
That's the Bitcoin switch.
Oh, got it.
It's actually pretty silent in that when you flip the Bitcoin switch.
That's funny.
That'd be a bummer for the person getting into that now, though. But
Well, real quick, we've got a friend of the show, Ryan Schlepper, in the chat with us, and he's wondering what the boxes are behind you, Brad. You got any surprises in those boxes?
That's a whole bunch of external graphics card docks. That's my next major project. It should have been my major project by now, but we've had 5 major GPU launches over the past 2 or 3 months. So
Nice.
Brad's been
taking
busy.
priority. I don't think I can talk about it too much, but I actually am going to have some news related to that pretty soon.
Nice, sweet,
Cool.
And we got some news related to Ryan soon too. So,
oh yeah. Ryan, we're gonna have Ryan from Creative Labs soon. I'm not sure what exactly the date is, but we are
next
gonna
Tuesday.
Besides talking about all cool things Creative Labs, we are gonna. People just love talking about old computing stuff, and Ryan is like, we like talking about the old times,
Yeah.
the old days.
Yep.
So
He's been on the show before, and it's awesome.
yeah.
Everyone loves Ryan.
So
Brad, I have another question though. So definitely with the XFX 590, you were like, the pricing of this really kind of hurts it too, because 580s were just crazy cheap, and it didn't
That's still
make it
the
worth
case.
it. It's still the case, so that doesn't change that.
it's still the case. In my review, it was headlined, "This is the 1080p gaming champion," and it really is. If you're looking to go get like the best 1080p gaming card that you can get for under $300, I'd recommend this Sapphire card in particular all the way. It's excellent. I mean, it's faster than the GTX 1060. There's very little reason to buy a GTX 1060 right now, but there's a lot of reasons to buy an RX 580 right now. This particular Sapphire model is a high-end, like it's a real nice cooler. It comes with all kinds of features and stuff, but if you're willing to get more of a basic card, just today we put a deal article up because we noticed this awesome deal this morning. It was a reference style MSI 8 gigabyte, not 4 gigabyte, RX 580 with 2 free games that are coming out. Devil May Cry 5, Division 2, or Resident Evil 2, your choice of 2 of those, for $165.
Yeah.
So a 580.
Yeah, it's
8
a
gigabyte
leftover Black
580.
Friday deal. Like they put that out on Cyber Monday, and I guess they've like let it sit.
And that's $125 cheaper than an RX 590. And the RX 590 is faster by like 10% in most games, maybe 20 if a game likes async compute particularly, but get all over that $165 RX 580. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's such a crazy good deal.
But it
Yeah,
is-
but one thing, if you're looking for a luxurious model of an RX 580, like the comparative Sapphire Nitro Plus RX 580 or the Asus Strix or any of those like real high-end ones, the RX 580s for those are still $250 plus we're seeing. So if your choice is between $250, $260 RX 580 or just get the RX 590 for $290, I'd recommend the RX 590 every time.
Okay, Elena,
Those deals for the 580s are crazy.
you were going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, though, but Brad already kind of spoke to the point where it's like not everyone's going to want a reference style cooler. So if you end up going with something more luxurious, I was going to ask him that question, and you already answered it.
Okay.
Read my mind, Brad.
Psych.
Rusty's asking, do they still have that 3-game deal with the 590?
Yes, 100%. You get all 3 of those games with the 590.
Wow. That's nice.
If you get a 570 or a 580, you can pick 2 out of 3. So it's crazy to me that they applied that to the RX 580. I don't know. It's real weird to me how they launched this RX 590. But take it if you can find it.
Wow,
Nice. That is pretty damn good.
that is a good deal. You know what's not a good deal though?
Can't go wrong with any AMD cards right now. Any of those mainstream AMD cards, they're all great right now.
595. Well, I guess this is a 590 mainstream. Yeah.
I consider below $300 mainstream. That's the upper end of it.
So 590 good, 580 good, 570 good.
570 is good if you're looking to do 1080p 60, which is the vast majority of monitors out there for gamers are probably 1080p 60. You'd be happy with the RX 570, and we've seen those on sale for like $140, and you get those 2 free games.
What about 560?
Nah,
Oh.
go ahead. I mean, you
hard
can
to
get
say.
it. We've seen some with the cut down version
Yeah, I was gonna
under
say-
like $85.
Yeah, the sales
So-
have all been on the cut down versions, which, kind of makes it a little less appealing.
Okay. And
But it takes away the sting as well if you're getting it for $85. So
yeah, it's pretty cheap. But is there any competition from Nvidia at this point in the sub $300 price range? 1050 even? 1050 Ti?
I wouldn't touch Nvidia unless you need to for, power constraint limit. Like if you have a 350 watt power supply in your OEM build or something, then Nvidia is still much more power efficient.
Okay.
But if you're just looking to get as much range as possible, power's not a concern. I would go with AMD under $300.
What do you think about the, I guess Asus had a Vega 64 Strix for $474 on Black Friday. Did you think that was a good deal? Asks Husky Mountain Productions.
That'd be a great deal. The Strix cooler is great. Getting Vega 64 for around his $500 MSRP is still, pretty good. If you can find it under, because 475 is under, and it's the Strix on top of that, that'd be great. Especially if you're looking to get a 1440p FreeSync monitor to pair with it.
Nice.
Pretty good deals out there.
Try your transition again, Gordon.
No, I will try it again.
It was a
But
good
you know
one.
what's not a good deal?
What is not a good deal?
This came up because Elena was complaining as she was searching for good deals. She's going to follow good deals later, but she was complaining. It's like, what? Look at this. This is crazy. This laptop, it's being marketed. Why are they selling a laptop with 24 gigs of memory?
Yeah.
This
'Cause
is
I was-
crazy. And we're talking about
That's
a
a pretty good
$500 laptop, right? $500 laptop
I
with
was like,
24
what
do
the
it?
heck is this? And then Gordon pointed out how quickly my reading comprehension isn't so good when I'm sleep deprived.
But I gotta say, I think it's completely fair. I'm looking at, in fact, I grabbed a screenshot of a different laptop, but it's very similar. This is an HP 17.3 inch laptop. It's got a Core i5 8250U. Hey, good part. 24 gigs of memory. But actually, it does explain it. Look, it does. This one does, but the ad that you saw didn't. It's got 24 gigs of memory, and here's the thing that may or may not set you off: is 16 gigs of that is Optane plus 8 gigs in RAM.
That's so dumb.
16 plus 8 is 24. This ad in Sam's Club actually a little better because it says : 16 plus 8. Some of the flyers that were used last week did not even say that. They just simply said 24 gigs of memory. Bam.
Yeah, and they did put Optane and RAM next to it, but it wasn't clear that that's what the 24 was all about initially. Like you'd have to actually read
Especially
carefully,
if you're
which I didn't do.
and if you're not if you're not a techie like us, if you're just someone looking for a cheap laptop on Black Friday for your kid or for you or whatever, then you're not gonna know what Optane memory means.
And this is the textbook definition of misleading, right?
Is it? No, well, here's the thing. Is it or isn't it?
I mean, it is,
So
right?
again, internet, just to sum up, there are still laptops being sold. They will say 24 gigs of memory or 20 gigs of memory. And what they are doing is they are counting the Optane drive plus system memory, system RAM.
Yes.
So just to get that in your head. Is that wrong
That's why
or right?
I've kind of had an issue with the branding behind this Optane memory module ever since it came out for this very reason, because I thought people are going to confuse Optane memory as being related to memory. It has nothing to do with memory whatsoever. It's a storage function. And now they're actively advertising it as memory, and it's still not really memory. It's a storage boost. And I don't like it.
I don't feel like Intel is the one driving it. I think what happened is that whoever does these circulars or does the website copy is just not technically, in tuned enough with what's going on in the space to know that they have to distinguish that kind of thing.
Well,
But that still goes back to the branding
That's
issue.
true.
To
I
begin
don't
with.
disagree, but I don't know if it was necessarily malice or like there was nothing nefarious about it. It was just not. There's a disconnect between the engineering side and the marketers and like how the mainstream populace would actually interpret this kind of stuff.
But if you think they weren't knowledgeable, wouldn't they just put 16 gig RAM 8 gig RAM, like because they're like, oh well, this second bullet might
because they see the word memory. So they said, they're both being called memory. I guess I can just combine that into one figure, and it's all one big happy pot of memory.
I guess, yeah.
Right, and I will say, I was just talking with a birdie who wanted to say bad things about Intel earlier, and so actually, Gordon, and I was like you, I'm like, I think, is this the retailers doing it? Because Sam's Club, Walmart, they clearly were doing this on a lot of laptops. I looked at Costco, I looked at Office Depot, and they said, hey, XX. They spelled everything out. But this person's like, this is the influence of Intel. Intel is telling people to do this. And I actually was checking out this Retail Edge program they have where they educate people on how to retailers and how to sell stuff. And there are some, so they answer some questions so the person in your store that answers questions for you who may not be a techie, but they try to train them on how to talk about Optane memory and the like. And I don't see anything from them where they explicitly say, call it memory in your flyers. It's not like there's guidance from Intel that says, do this.
Okay.
The official word from Intel, by the way, is like, hey, this is good stuff. It's halfway between memory. It's halfway between storage. But I do really think this is Intel trying to say influence retailers and OEMs. In fact,
okay.
I'm going to point this out because he deserves credit. Joel over at Extreme Tech wrote about this in July, I think, when Dell started to do this on their website.
Yeah, I remember when it first popped up. Yep.
And it was the same thing. It was like, here, we're going to call 24 gigs of memory in this laptop. And he sort of slapped him on the hand over that. And apparently everybody pulled back from this except for Sam's Club and Walmart. So I don't know who's at blame, but I do want to make sure people don't lose sight of this. Now, I think it's wrong. It is not memory. You shouldn't call it RAM because it's not RAM. But I do also understand that they are trying to communicate to people buying $600 laptops with hard drives that having a $600 laptop with a 1 or 2 terabyte hard drive is going to be way better of an experience with an Optane drive, right? Because it's essentially caching or micro-tearing of the data. So it speeds it up, right?
There's a way to do that without calling it a memory pool.
But you got but Brad, I think from their perspective, you're like, hey, somebody comes by, they're talking to you for a maximum of 10 seconds, 15 seconds. How do you convey to them what Optane is, which is, go ahead.
I've got this, I've got this laptop I'm going to sell you. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM. It has this real big, spacious 2 terabyte hard drive, and it has Optane super storage.
So, but I want to buy more memory, Brad. I want more RAM because I need, I do a lot of work in Office, in Word, and I also use a lot of Google Docs. So I would need more memory than 16 gigs. Isn't it better?
16 gigabytes is fine. You'll appreciate Optane super storage a lot more.
But this laptop has more memory, RAM. Is it better?
But it doesn't have Optane super storage.
See, that's not gonna. I'm not sure.
It's disingenuous.
It is
That's the issue I have with it.
I agree with it. In fact, my story this morning on PCWorld.com says, don't do this. Don't do this. It's not right. Even though it's right for the right reasons.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think your example does touch on this fact that there's still this pervasive thing that goes that's just embedded in people's minds right now, that whatever rule there was back in the day of just adding more RAM to speed up a system, that's what people still fall back on. They haven't updated their impression of what to do. Like, I was helping a friend buy a new laptop this Black Friday season, and he kept saying oh, it only has 8 gigs of RAM. Should I get one with 16? I'm like, dude, no. For what you're doing, you don't need 16. I mean, you might want it down the road if you really feel like your photo editing is going to be that much of a problem, but I really don't think that you'll need it.
I want 16, Elena.
I know. I know you do.
More. There's 8, and then there's 16. I need more.
Now imagine if you could get 24.
It's even better.
Well, but hey, this is a classic. It goes back for years. If you go to any gaming laptop website and you look at the configuration, you know what the upsell is? It's more memory.
That's true.
What, you need 32 gigs to play your game on your laptop? Your 1060. No, but you know what? That is an option.
Well, granted, that's one of the only things they can upgrade easily and give options, right?
Storage.
They could do storage.
Storage would be way better for gaming.
Yeah, and I would much rather take the extra money you're sinking into that RAM and
especially these
double
days.
the SSD.
But assume if you're doing a gaming laptop that pretty much just stays on your desk, you can have an expandable storage easy. You can't have expandable RAM.
But what I'm saying, Adam, is like Elena's friend and like a person who was trying to buy that laptop from Brad, they go, I want more RAM. I want more RAM. Yeah. Well, you don't need more RAM. You don't do jack, right? So why don't you buy this?
RAM.com.
Well, I mean, it's such a terrible thing because the mainstream buyer, they go and they look at CPU, right? They look at RAM, and then they look at hard drive, and then they go. My father-in-law's a perfect example. Hopefully he's not watching this. I said, don't buy this all-in-one with the hard drive. Buy it with the SSD. What does he do? He bought the hard drive. And now it's like, you need to come look at my all-in-one, 4 years later, because it's slow. It was slow from day one. But if he had an Optane drive 4 years ago in it, it would have been a better experience. But you know what? All of us, including myself, we are jumping down Intel's throat for saying you can't call it memory.
Because it's not. That's the thing. I can understand the marketing and PR reason for wanting to advertise more RAM, but if it's not more system memory, it's not more system memory.
And Ryan in the chat says confirms a lot of times the product setup isn't done by the manufacturer, so it could very well be the store chains combining the spec in their advertisements and pages.
It could be. I mean,
it could be. That's what we said earlier.
It is entirely possible.
It just goes to the whole thing where it's like, maybe it's this education question, right? Like we're just not getting the information to people in a way that they can easily grasp it. Because I mean, we've taught them that more RAM is better. More storage is better, more is better. But we haven't taught them when those cases are.
Yeah. And it's really hard to get people to go because a 4 terabyte drive is better than a 1 terabyte drive.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard too, especially with phones, right? Because phones every year, manufacturers are like, this model has 6 gigabytes of RAM. Like this model is going to have 8. Like it's just going to be on that train. And so a lot of people are probably trying to combine all the different kind of specs they know so that it just applies across the board.
So you're saying it's the media's fault? It's our fault?
No, I'm not saying it's our fault. Okay. I'm saying it's how the advertising goes.
It's definitely your fault.
No,
Intel made something new. They need to put the marketing money into making sure people understand what that is.
Oh my God!
And whether it's Walmart or Intel or whoever, it's not system memory. If they had ads out there during the Super Bowl saying "Optane super storage, it'll make your slow hard drive faster." And then people are like, oh, I saw that in the Super Bowl. That's that Optane super storage. Yeah, I want that one.
Well, before we move on from this, Whiskey Omega over on Twitch has a challenge for us. How do you explain Optane to an average Joe? How would you do it?
I would say...
Makes your hard drive way faster.
It makes it as fast. Well, see, yeah, but the whole thing is like, makes it as fast as an SSD. What's an SSD? You need one. I'm buying the hard drive.
I would explain it like a toolbox. Right? So say you have like your full, the mechanics, they have the full, carts, right? But say there's like 5 that you always use, right? You would have a tool belt for that, right? So your Optane drive is basically your tool belt. Like all the stuff you're using frequently goes there.
So like memory, like it goes to memory, right? Is that what you're saying?
Why are you trying to ruin this for me? I'm trying to do it quickly.
It's not an easy concept to get across.
No, like they have tool belt, your favorite tools, your most used tools in your tool belt, but you still have your full array of tools in your cart, right? So that's your hard drive. So it makes it a little faster to get your work done because all the stuff you're doing normally is right there.
In manufacturing, they call it Kanban.
Yeah, but if you, and I swear to God, what Adam just said works out. It's like, oh my God, it makes it faster like you had more memory. People are like, okay, yeah, sure.
I mean, because that's how memory works. You put stuff into memory so it can access it quicker. That's same right?
No, that would be my. I can get really elaborate with this, so let's not. Do that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
I have to do this all the
handcuff
time.
them to the display at Best Buy and explain it to them.
But the thing is like that's the problem with all this, right? Like I always have to come up with these weird analogies for my parents to understand how things work. It's great because my father, who is a mechanic or was a mechanic, I can tell him stuff like this, and he's like, "Got it." Like, and he'll just remember. And I try to explain to my mother, and I'm just like, I don't know. I started talking about vegetables and grocery stores, but it's still not working.
But look, it's the same class of buyer that says like, okay, I want to buy this laptop. I want the 4K version because I watch 4K movies. I got a 4K TV. I want a 4K laptop. You're buying a 4K 13-inch laptop. Don't buy it. You don't need it. Okay,
Yeah, but it's 4K.
I want 4K. Right.
I mean, 4K is more. It's Moke.
It is Moke, but you don't need it. All you can do is destroy your battery life.
I stole that from Gordon.
I don't know. I just as much as don't do it. It's not right. It makes me. It ain't right. But I understand.
In chat, Peter says Brad is correct. Technically incorrect, but good enough. And then E Lopez says the garage is the hard drive, the workbench is the RAM, and the tool belt is Optane.
Nice.
I still doesn't. I think that's still too.
I like that someone still tried to make something of my analogy. Like I genuinely try to answer the question, and someone is helping me. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
works really well. I usually use a kitchen analogy, but that works too.
And Ruru2 says Optane turns your hard drive from a tractor trailer truck into an Impala. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, but you know, no one's gonna. If you're a consumer going to the store, they can be like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I don't believe you. But if you say it's got, look at the number. People only believe big numbers. Is the problem, right?
I mean, people always say more megapixels is better in a camera, right?
Right.
Oh yeah.
And they sell it because it's the only thing that works, and it really does. It's a fault of. It is some of that is us. We're not educating people, and it's the fault of you nerds for not going out and telling people don't buy 4K 13-inch laptops.
Well,
you don't need 64 gigs of RAM in your Pentium system.
Hold on. I tried to say that when 4K first started coming out on 13-inch screens, and you were like, no, it's okay. Some people like it pixel dense. And I'm like, what?
Well, I do.
Not on a 13-inch screen. You were the one that was with the famous CNET write-up that says 4K doesn't matter. It's useless.
But that's TVs, Gordon.
That was
on
on television.
It's right on TVs. 4K doesn't matter unless you're sitting real close.
CNET said,
right.
"Oh, you don't need no." I'm going to call them out. They said, "Oh, you don't need no 4K
on
television."
a TV. We weren't talking about laptop screens.
I know. I was on television.
Elder Geek says extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence by Carl Sagan.
You mean the number? Carl Sagan. There's
Sagan said
24 gigs of memory in this computer.
Also, to be fair,
and gigabytes
to be
of memory.
fair, I mean, there are times that we say higher numbers are better. Like you would want more frame rate, right? You would want a higher refresh rate than more megapixels, right? That's still a bigger number.
When we say that, it's honest and truthful about what we're talking about. We're talking about apples and apples, not apples and oranges.
I
this
think
isn't system memory.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like Apple. I mean, Apple technically has a 120 hertz display on the iPhone, but it's only used for animations.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. Yes.
Well, here's another thing.
But they can still claim they have a 124 hertz screen.
Retina display is better than 4K, right?
It is. Well, is it?
Retina doesn't even mean
Pixel
anything. It doesn't even mean anything.
Why don't they just start throwing in graphics card RAM in it too? That 24 gigabyte system can go to
You know what?
32 gigabytes real quick.
I mean, it's true. You got RAM in there too.
It has been done before. I mean, but think of it, Brad. Remember those like stupid large frame buffer GPUs that were like low end GPUs but with more memory? Because people see, 8 gigs of in your,
But then it's actually memory. That's my.
It is actually memory.
I love how consistent Brad has been this whole time.
It is not. I agree with you, Brad. It is
on
not
point.
memory. In fact, I will actually read you from Intel's own guidance.
Yeah, I wanted to see when you're getting to that. I think it's interesting for everyone to hear.
Wait. There's actually they upfront admit it right here on their. Does it say? Where the hell is it?
thrilling live.
Yeah, sorry,
reading.
live read.
I'm very.
Can Intel Optane memory replace DRAM? No, Intel Optane memory can't replace DRAM. The two memory technologies were different purposes. Serve different purposes. I can barely read this. It is so.
Do you want me to do it? I can do it.
It's because you get a 4K screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a 4K.
All right. So, no, Intel Optane memory can't replace DRAM. The two memory technologies serve different purposes in the computer memory hierarchy. So, Intel Optane memory complements DRAM rather than replacing it entirely. Intel Optane memory works alongside DRAM to accelerate responsiveness by enabling the system to quickly access and remember the documents, photos, videos, and applications customers use most often.
Nice.
So no, their own guidance is no. They're not saying it's memory, but it is memory.
But it
It's the only way to
remembers things. It remembers things.
They can say memory like 24
Optane
gigs.
never forgets.
Memory like stuff.
And I'm going to link the article to all the people in the chat so they can read it as well.
Yeah, and this is we will go on with this forever.
What actually sucks though is that Optane's really cool, and I love the technology. I just don't like the way this is being marketed.
Well, Brad, I don't know what you're going to do in 24 to 36 months when we are running 1 terabyte or 512 gig Optane DIMMs. Not memory, but memory. It's not memory, but memory. You can have that you put that in a consumer PC. I don't know what is. Well, I don't. It's sort of prepping people for this weird future where, again, you get crap loads of non-volatile memory. Right? But is it memory? Is it RAM? It's not RAM. It's not. But
There's
it's memory.
so many words in the English language. Can't we just use another one?
Yeah, you know what? We could. Here's a good one. Elena is just terrible when she gets good deals because she's always like,
Wait, what?
got good deals.
Okay.
Because she's like
sure.
bragger. She's like bragging about
Man.
like.
And I thought I could mess up a transition.
Because we're running out of
I
time.
was so ready for like some kind of like scathing and like indictment of what I had to say about the English language and using a new word.
Oh yeah, all right. Who is the one? Who was the one who sent me the tweet of the 400 gig SanDisk micro SD card that I paid $99 for? How much did you send it to me? That link for? How much? Was
I thought you might want to buy it again.
Why? How much was it for?
It was for $80.
I already bought one. It was too late.
No, you told me you were returning it because you didn't think you needed
Yeah,
it. So I thought I was doing you a favor.
Yeah, sure. That's like, hey, I know you bought that. Look, it's on sale.
Well, everybody now knows that I'm never going to be helping Gordon find deals.
Yeah, right. You shouldn't. But you did help all of us, and we got some people in the chat asking if they can offer their deals after we offer what we got on Black Friday.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, let's go through what we all got on Black Friday.
Yeah. Should I start?
Yeah, do it. You're the deals ninja.
So a lot of it was not exciting if you're into tech. I actually used Black Friday, Cyber Monday as my like stock up period for the year. So like anything that I feel is kind of expensive or easy to stock up on. So like there's like a kind of shampoo that I use, like things like that. Like I will actually wait for deals and look for specials on that. But related to tech, I actually ended up opting for the pCloud's lifetime storage deal. So they had this thing where you could either opt for a 500 gigabyte plan or a 2 terabyte plan, and it was ridiculously cheap for a lifetime membership. So it was like 75% off. So it was like $125 for the 500 gig plan, and I think $2 something for the 2 terabyte plan. And there's just some things that I would not like to, have to worry about losing access to if I forget to renew, like, I don't know, Dropbox or whatever service I'm using at that time. So I opted for the 500 gigabyte one so that, copies of my work from print, like the PDFs I have of that, things like that, I can just toss up there.
And it's lifetime?
Mm-hmm, supposedly. Well, my dad actually was really good about this when I was a kid. He's like, if anyone ever tells you it's lifetime, it means the lifetime of that company.
Yeah. Yes.
My dad's really smart about things like that. So I was like, $125 is about how much you'd pay for a 1-year subscription to Dropbox or Microsoft, Office 365.
Month, right? Yeah.
So I feel like as long as I get at least 1 year of use out of this, I'm comfortable putting down that money, which is why I didn't go for the 2 terabyte one, because I was like, that's a little bit more money to like take a risk on. It's like, no.
That's a good way of looking at it, though.
So I think that's probably one of my biggest gets. And then the other one was so B&H had a EVGA 750 watt gold power supply for $30 after mail-in rebate.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't really need to upgrade my power supply. Because
You do if you get that for $30.
Yes, so that's basically what happened.
Dan paid $60 for his.
I know, I saw that in the video.
Did you send him a tweet about it? Hey, $30.
You know, he was pretty much set by the time I saw that deal, so I just was like, all right.
Nobody tell him.
Nobody told him. Sorry,
The
Dan.
only thing that makes a good deal. Yeah, I did that in a Dremel tool I bought recently, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, those are my top two. I mean, my desk is a testament to how fast shipping is getting these days because I can't really exit it comfortably. I may have also bought 3 different Instant Pots because I couldn't decide which deal I wanted, and I figured I would just return the one I didn't want. So yeah.
Wow.
Those are
That's
big
something I want to
boxes.
buy. That's on my list actually for after Christmas. I'm gonna get me an Instant Pot.
Yeah.
There's a competitor now, some Ninja Pot or something like that.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. It's a electric pressure cooker with an electric element, so it'll then bake it.
That sounds more complicated to me. Instant Pot is simple.
Yeah. So anybody snag any crazy good deals? Any others?
I didn't buy anything officially for Black Friday or Cyber Monday, but I did upgrade my phone last weekend. I got a new phone. And since I got a new phone, I had to get a new case. And the case I wanted was $20 off, so I was happy. It was just
Nice.
like a happy accidental savings.
And what phone did you get?
The iPhone XR, which is my first ever big phone, and it sucks in a lot of ways, but is still cool to like watch YouTube videos. But I bought a case for it that's a folio case so that I can ditch my wallet and just throw my stuff in
Yep,
there.
that's what
think
I
we
do.
were talking about that on a show recently.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
It's so big that I don't want to carry it and a wallet. So
Brad, just this is my advice for people. You're a dad. Just get a holster. It's all right.
no, I can't
Yeah.
do that.
No, look, you can so if you do this, it's not as bad. Is the leather ones are like sort of like when you're over 60, but when you're under 60, you can do the holster that's a clip-in type. But it's okay. You're a dad. It's cool. It's totally cool.
I never wear a belt though, so
Your
Yep,
pants.
there you go.
Clip it to your pants.
You could clip it to your pants.
Yeah.
I work from home, man. I'm like in athletic shorts or sweatpants kind of guy. Like
Nice.
unless I'm on assignment or whatever.
On assignment.
I have a whole theory about we're not going to get into
Yeah,
it.
we can get into that later.
Not going to get into it.
So I didn't buy any tech stuff. Actually, You're going to make fun of me on this one. I bought Ship to Shore, which does a vinyl pressings of old video games. I picked up Gradius 3 on vinyl.
Like the soundtrack?
The soundtrack to Gradius 3.
You have a
Yeah.
turntable?
I've got a good record. Not a huge one, but some good collections.
Oh, cool.
And some of them are video game related.
That's
Yes.
neat. I
Yeah.
actually think that's super cool.
Yeah, Gradius
Yeah.
3 is like one of my favorite soundtracks of all time, and having it on vinyl is going to be fun. So
That's a hobby I didn't even know existed, but now that I do, I'm very happy that it does. That's real cool.
yeah, you would think like computer generated audio is kind of, pressed onto a physical format is kind of dumb, or like, why would you do that? Okay, sure, yeah, I can believe that. But also at the same time, like, you're definitely getting a wider range of sound waves that you wouldn't get through the digital format. So I like it. It's fun, and like they usually do a really good job on the packaging and everything like that. So it's kind of the whole experience around it. What is the name? Parrish, Jeremy Parrish from Retronauts wrote like a nice little thing and that goes on the insert. So they make it nice.
I don't know why you need to be defensive about it. I just mean like it makes me sad to think that somebody would give you crap for that, because I mean, we're still human beings, we're physical creatures, so we have that sense of touch. So it's nice to have physical objects.
Well, I can just see. No, I was saying it because I could see Gordon's face.
No, I mean, every
just
day.
hipster with your avocado toast.
I like to take all of the news stories I read and then I print them out on tabloid here, and then I fold it up and I read it that way.
I still like reading paper newspapers. There's something about having multiple stories within like my frame or my field of view that it makes it easier for me to read stories that I might not necessarily see. No, I've been reading paper newspapers since that was the only thing around, Gordon.
I have 7 or 8 giant bookshelves in my living room. It's like a library because I'm never going to get an e-reader.
And the sites Ship to Shore or even Mondo, they do other stuff other than vinyl, but they'll have video game vinyl too. So yeah.
Mondo's like, what do you mean even Mondo?
Yeah. Well, I prefer Ship to Shore, just their message or their the people behind it. But yeah,
I got a Black Friday story, sorta.
Do it.
All right, so it's not technology related. Obviously, that's how bad the Black Friday technology deals were. I bought it.
$30 power supply.
Okay, that's a great deal. I bought a Dremel tool, and I was like, "Wow, this is great!" Because it launched at $180, and then in the last year and a half, it's now worked its way down to $78. I was like, "I'm going to buy one. That's a pretty good deal." Did all my research or whatever, blah 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 blah. But I had had it for a couple weeks, and I checked this last week, and it was like $58. I was like so angry. I was like, I'm going to call customer service. And, and they were like, well, we don't do price matching. I won't say what the outlet is, but we don't do price matching. And I said, well, look, I can just buy this one and return the other one. And then you'll be out for the shipping because the shipping is free on this product. What are we going to do? You're a good customer. We want to keep you, so we're going to just give you the difference. So
I've tried that before when I've called customer service, and they're like, "Sorry, we don't allow you to do that." And I'm like, "All right, then. Guess
it's on you. I got to return this.
Can you switch me to the return department, please?"
Yes. Well, Adam, didn't people have good deals? They had good deals.
Yes. Let's get to the good deals in the chat. I'll just start off on Twitch because it's first on my list. Northern Tech Hermit. Says they got a Ryzen 7 1700 for 139 pounds. I assume the L with the
that's pounds.
Yeah.
Was that a euro?
Yeah, that's the one thing.
I think it's a pound.
The euro's the E.
Yeah, euro's E. That's the one thing I wish I knew more about, which is international pricing. But apparently, here in the States, we were getting deals that obviously do not match what they get overseas.
That's a good deal.
Is it? I don't know.
Well, 140 pounds right now is actually, the exchange rate is pretty bad for, Britain right now. So that's probably closer to like 160 US. In the old days, though, that would have been like, closer to like 200 something.
That was what?
So sorry about Brexit.
330, right? Those are three. I'm just thinking back, 1700.
Yeah,
they were $300. That's a pretty good deal.
Still not a bad deal. It's just that here in the States, you could have gotten that, I think, for 130.
Oh, see, she just did it again.
What?
You just make people feel bad.
I'm a maximizer, okay? I'm sorry.
Well, that's a good deal, but I just found it for $30 less.
I found a better deal.
Well, that doesn't help me.
No. Well, maybe you should be friends with me. Maybe you should try being friends with me, Gordon.
We should be friends.
Just 2 years ago, we were real pumped when a new Intel quad core came out. With no hyper-threading whatsoever. Like, I'm getting this new Core i5, and it's $250. So to get a 8-core chip for 130 pounds is great. Don't feel bad about that, Bob.
I'm sorry. I'll be quiet now.
No, but it's fair to point out that that's pretty. 130 here is crazy for an 8-core SMT chip, 16
Yeah,
threads.
I just meant it more as just a difference in pricing between the U.S. and the international markets still.
Yeah.
All right. Asriel858 on Twitch. Google Home Hub on Cyber Monday at Target for $80.
Yep. 15% off.
Which I have one because I helped with the review on that, and we love it. I like it a lot. So
I was thinking about getting one. Is it good?
I like it. It's a great picture frame that can also do all the Google features.
It's a great picture
No, really.
frame.
Like it hooks up to your Google Photos, and like things will pop up pretty much. Like right now, I have it tagged to always show my cat BB.
Wait.
So right now, I just have a good picture frame.
You can filter it, right? So that way your nudes don't actually show up when your mom's visiting.
Well, I usually want them to show up, but if my mom's visiting, no. But no, I have it to always show my cat, and so even when I take a photo of BB, like immediately, not immediately, but it'll show up in the rotation like within the day. So
technology.
As a cat
do
lover,
you do that? Because Adam is, for people who don't know, he is a fashion photographer, and some of his stuff might not be considered.
I usually don't put it on Google Photos. I have a server for that stuff.
Real talk
offshore
on the full nerd.
and double encrypted.
Anyway, on YouTube, eLopez580, my favorite deal was the Crucial MX500 2TB for $208.
Yeah.
Damn.
There's some really good SSD prices.
Yeah.
I think they're only going to keep getting better, honestly.
Yeah, hopefully, right?
150 in that. I think my trigger point is 150 for 2 terabytes.
Yeah.
It's going to get there?
I think it's going to get there, though. Like 2019, I think it'll get there. Part of our prediction show.
I don't trust SSD prices and RAM prices. always go through cycles, and whenever I see a deal where I'm like, oh, you got that for $200, when I feel that way about something I see right now, I just hop on it because I don't trust prices to keep going up or keep going down.
Nice.
It's fair.
Yeah. Then you end up with a drawer full of DDR2, Brad.
Hey, RAM is RAM. Memory's memory. Solar Holler. I don't know how to say it. On YouTube, I got a Red Dragon Harpy K503 RGB on Black Friday. It is a pretty good for a budget keyboard. So.
Yeah, I don't keep track of keyboards. So I don't really know what's out there besides, that
would be Hayden's territory.
Yeah.
I buy those knockoff boards when they get super cheap.
The all-key one with the replica. They don't have cherries. I forgot what they call them.
No, they're probably like lime or something. Some other kind of fruit or
raspberries. Oh, wait, no, that's not blueberry.
Yeah, the blueberry keys.
Nice. Rusty, a friend of the show, Rusty, I picked up a Blue Yeti for $40 off. Wasn't able to get my MSI Magic 24C 144 hertz monitor for close to $200.
Wait, you said $40 off or for $40?
Yeah, I got the Blue Yeti for $40 off.
Oh, I thought you said for 40. I was like, holy moly, where did you find that? That is amazing.
Which
they had that on Amazon for one day at least.
There was a really good deal.
Is it the Nano? Is it the newer one or is it the older one?
It was the standard size Blue Yeti.
Oh, okay.
But they had I forgot who was it. Most places had it for $90, but one place had it for $90 and you got like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I want to say.
Nice.
Like the newest game.
Yeah.
It was
a microphone?
Yeah,
Blue Yeti.
I have that, even though I'm using a Razer phone right here, I have that sitting over there, and $90 or $40 off, whatever you spent on it. That's a great buy.
It's a good microphone. I've got one.
And Gordon, plug ears for this one. Elder Geek says they grabbed a PS4 Pro for $320, but it's not for me, Gordon, honest.
There's nothing wrong with having a console. It helps us. I was just thinking this morning.
Here we go.
People who buy consoles help the PC. You ever think about it?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I got to go in 3 minutes, Gordon.
We got 3 minutes.
Yeah. Peter Jansen, I don't want to buy. I didn't buy anything during Black Friday, but the MX 500 was a good deal. William Flanagan, I got the Threadripper 1950X for $450.
Oh yeah, I saw that deal.
Yeah. And John Gonzalez got a Dell 32-inch 1080p monitor for $134 with his Dell Business Finance account.
Oh, neat.
So yeah, always good stuff to go around. Thanks for sharing.
I love big monitors.
Wait, you know what? Ain't nobody shopping for gifts. They're shopping for themselves.
Oh yeah. No, this is Christmas for myself right now.
Duh.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We're your 3 Instant Pots. Get your 3 Instant Pots. Hey, who wants some soup?
And yeah. So sorry everyone, we're gonna skip the Q&A because Brad has to take off. But just to remind everyone,
it's my kid's fault. I'll blame it on my kid.
No worries. Yeah. They're waiting outside again. In the snow. No, they're not. Next week, friend of the show, Ryan from Creative is going to be on. So definitely be sure to tune in that next Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Bring your memories and all your audio questions. We've actually had a lot of audio chat today about people buying microphones, and we couldn't dig into it, but definitely bring it up next week because it's going to be fun. I'm excited to have Ryan on.
And build tomorrow.
Oh yeah, and Dan's build tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
real world build.
Real world. Don't tell Dan how much he could have saved in that power supply though. He paid $60 on it, which was a great deal.
Where did he buy it from? Maybe he can just buy the $30 one off of me.
I think he bought it from. Oh
wow! Dang.
But you're not gonna sell for $30.
Yeah, you're gonna
sell for $35.
You gotta have your finder's fee.
No, I don't do that because the thing is I'm buying Goodwill. That stuff pays off really well in the long run.
All right. Yep.
I told you my first job in the photography store. I said, Gordon, take this stuff, change the list price to this, and then mark it down and say it was 25% off.
No, I've done this before. I bought stuff that I didn't really need, and other people actually needed it. So I was like, here, just buy it off me at cost.
Actually, I feel like I've bought something off of you before. Yeah.
You were going to buy
the Super
Nintendo Classic. That's what it was.
Service fee. There's a service fee.
Yeah. All right.
There's a surface.
Let's take us out, Gordon.
So check back next week for your fix of PC Talk on the Full Nerd. For audio listeners, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. Send questions and comments to the Full Nerd at PCWorld.com. All I ever get is spam. Please do. Thanks for coming. And also leave us a review. Every time you do, Elena gets to humble brag about a deal she got. I'm Gordon Ung with Brad Charkas.
See you at the lab build tomorrow.
Elaine Yee.
Bye, everyone.
And Adam Patrick Murray's going to hit the off switch.
Everyone should go try to drop a CPU box. It's really fun.